All right, well, here we are in Rosedale, Louisiana. What a momentous occasion. This is going to impact so many people. And so why don't we just start? Maybe you guys can introduce yourselves. Who are you?
Well, I'm Jean Dorsey, and these are my sisters. My oldest is Linda, my second sister Teresa, and my third sister is Eddie.
All right.
And of course, I'm the youngest.
Excellent, excellent. And how do you guys relate to this GU 272?
We relate to it through as my mother, is Dorothy Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and my mother's Dorothy Taylor. Her mother was a Hawkins. Her mother was Santa Rita Hawkins. So my mother's father is Charles Henry Taylor.
Okay.
Yeah, which is the son of James Edward Taylor.
Ah, okay, excellent, excellent. So we have some questions that we're going to ask, and you guys can feel free. There is no right or wrong answer. You guys feel free to answer as you see it. The first question is, please tell us the story of your ancestor James Edward Taylor's search for his relatives.
But what I know of is that I think it was around 1889. He did an ad to search for his parents and his siblings. He put an ad out. According to this, it was in Louisiana, and I was told it was Mousson, Louisiana, which I've never heard of. But I don't think it really exists at this point. It may be part of. I'm not sure if it's Iberville Parish or either Point Coupee Parish, but according to what we understand, it was Mousson, Louisiana. He put an ad out looking for his parents and his siblings, which he had 3 brothers and I think 1 sister. Now, I don't have any information to say whether he actually found it or anything like that. So that was the only information that I remember of. Do you remember of anything else?
I don't remember anything as far as his traveling and trying to find his family and stuff like that. However, I do have a story to tell about it.
Okay.
My mom stated that James Edwards was a blacksmith. And at his job, while he was working, of course he was a slave at that time, the master came and asked him to come and do something, wherever it was. And James says, well, as soon as I finish this, I'll come. Well, the master thought that he was being sassy or whatever, so the master took the whip and whipped it. James caught the whip, pulled the master off the horse, and whatever instrument that he had at that time, the rumor is that he killed him.
Wow.
And he ran away.
Wow.
So we couldn't find any information on that,
anything on that.
except that was told.
That was told by my mom and her brother George Taylor. Same story.
Wow.
So obviously their dad told them that.
Yeah. Now James also, again, according to what we know, he was on the original 1838 sale, the list to be sold. But we don't know what happened, that he was not sold to Henry Johnson, which came to Louisiana. He was sold to someone else. And from what we understand, he was only 3 years old when he was sold. He was separated from his family.
Wow.
Yeah, and then he was sold again, and he was 11 years old. And I think that's when he was sold to Louisiana. So we don't have an exact date or time when in, but he was about 11 years old, according to what we understand. When he came to sold the second night he came to Louisiana.
So 3 years old, he was sold from Maryland?
Yeah, according to, but he was in Whitewash, Maryland as well. But it looks like at 3 years old they were separated. The sisters and the mother was sold to someone, and then he was sold to someone. They were all supposed to be together on that 1838 sale. But according to I understand, his name is on the list, but he did not get sold to the Henry Johnson that came to Louisiana. He was sold to someone else.
Wow.
And it was only 3 from what I'm understanding.
Amazing. The second question is, how did you learn about Mr. Taylor?
James Edward,
Yes.
my grandfather's Bible.
Oh, wow. Can you hold that?
It had name. I think it has his name.
His birthday?
It don't have his birthday. Had James Edward Taylor and his wife is named Matilda Skipper.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
How old is that?
Have no idea. Older than I'm 74, so he's older than me.
That's
Yeah, it's my grandfather, so it's definitely older than you. It's my which is Charles Henry Taylor.
My grandfather did
My
wrote
grandfather, he wrote all of his children's names.
Wow.
and
when
they
they were born.
And when it, yeah.
So this was Charles Taylor, which was again the son of James
Wow.
Taylor.
It might be as old as 80 years old, older than that.
It's older than that.
Well, it's got to be older than that.
Yeah.
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 Maybe 100.
It's got to be older than that because he got all of his children's
Oh, well,
names.
yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
and
That's
they're
right.
over,
And
and they're over, just about over 100.
But everybody's over 100 at this point.
Yes.
Even
Yeah.
my mother was on, so all of our
That's right.
siblings. So that Bible's definitely well over 100.
The mother will be 100 come October.
Yeah, she's got what 7 siblings.
Yes. Yes.
So did you guys talk about this story, or it was just kind of passed down to you? Did you grow up talking about this story?
Actually, no.
No,
No.
we did
We
not.
didn't know anything about it until maybe a few years ago when they kind of started with the Georgetown thing. And as I was telling my siblings, sometimes when they was talking to other individuals, I was not always here when they had talked to some other individuals about this. And Rochelle, she gave us a lot of information on this, and so that's how we learned a lot of this is from her.
Wow. Wow. It's
I
amazing.
learned it from her. She called me in Virginia, 2013? 2013 or 14, and we sit up to about 2 or 3 in the morning, just reading the whole column. We
Wow.
just shocked. We had
We know
heard,
nothing.
we didn't know nothing about it until
Wow.
we started discussing it, and she was saying how it was working its way toward Louisiana, how they were coming here. It was
Wow.
interesting.
Wow. So you were in Maryland?
Virginia.
In Virginia.
When I heard
Wow. And it was working its way to Louisiana. That's remarkable. That's remarkable. Was this a so the New York Times published an article in 2022 on James's advertisements seeking his relatives' whereabouts. You guys know anything about that?
We are aware of it.
what you're reading about
How
it.
the ad, came about, or how long he had been looking for them or anything. We're not aware of that.
Okay.
But looks like from what we saw, he put in maybe several ads
Wow.
looking for his family. I don't know the exact dates or times. And a lot of this is kind of sketchy because we're trying to, it was in the 1840s or something, 1880s maybe. But there's no record of any information after he placed the ad. Obviously, he could not find them
Wow.
for that. And of course, his parents, which was Moses and Eliza, they actually was in Whitewash, Maryland as well, and they ran away.
Wow.
They actually ran away. They escaped.
Yeah, they ran.
They ran away.
They escaped.
According to what we read, they ran away.
Now, we don't have anything to show that the children were with them, what happened after that. And when they escaped, there's nothing listed with the children. And we don't know what happened with James either. Again, like you said, how he came about.
We don't know how James got to Louisiana from where. We're not quite sure from where. The time span in between there. And we keep hearing that there's a Newsong Lane, which is in Maryland, And I don't know at that time if they did that like a little county or a little town or whatever. And I think that there had been a plantation in that area. Not sure. Just bits and pieces, can't remember a lot, but think that there may be a little plantation in that area. So we're thinking that Newsom, what they're saying, is actually Newsom Lane. Because back then, from my understanding, there was no P.O. Box 28, P.O. Box. It was just a P.O. Box Newsom Maryland, P.O. Box Newsom Rosedale or something like that. So
Wow.
I'm not quite sure.
Wow.
That's skeptical about that part there too.
Now, did he have any siblings?
Yes.
What do you guys know about that?
Well, we found out about that around the same time that we found out about James. We did not know when Rochelle again gave us some information. When they gave us some information on Moses and Eliza, which was his parents, that's when we find out. Now they were sold. They're not clear about Moses either. That's how they got separated from James. Eliza and her children were sold separately from James.
Wow.
And when Eliza and Moses, whenever they did get together, they did escape. Moses, which is his father, there was an ad put out from his owner, which is named James Evans, put out a reward for the return of Moses.
Is that right?
Yes.
Wow. How you guys feel just learning this history? Like, how does it hit you?
Well, it's hard. It's heartbreaking to hear. You know, for me personally, and how humans are commodity, are treated as a commodity. For to pay for a university, not personally just your farm area, but you're talking about a university for thousands of people to attend. You know, that is not the color of the person that you're using and enslaving to pay for that. So it's disturbing, and I mean, this is no comparison right now, but when I was just listening to the news how farmers was running, you know, from the FBI, just I was watching, you know, it's just like a modern day slave time, you know.
Yeah.
And just watching that has nothing to do with what I was talking before.
No doubt.
But it just like it took me back when I was watching that, and I said, man, I can't imagine what our people went through back then. And this has nothing. This can't even compare to back then.
Absolutely.
These people running for their lives.
Wow. Wow.
But then, on the other side, I'm glad, not for the actions, the stuff that they went through, but I'm glad that we know somewhere where we got started. That's where the roots, where we think the roots really started at. So, because we never had no in and out. We knew mom and dad, and that was it. We didn't know our grandparents because my grandfather died by the time I was probably a couple of months old. My grandmother died about the same. So we didn't know anybody. So we don't know where they come from, where they like again, I thought everybody was from Evergreen Parish. And now I'm finding out that we're way out in another state.
Wow.
So it's sad, but we got something.
You have to understand when if you were a slave and you was a runaway slave, a lot of times you didn't want people to know who you were, where you came from. So most of the time, again, you may have an ad put out to search for you. And as we said before, that was reward for Edward, James, and so many of them changed their names. And so we don't even know about, that's why we didn't know about some of this stuff, and they didn't probably even discuss it.
Wow.
It's probably was hurting for them too.
Yeah.
It's probably hurting for them too, you know. You get up and you're lined up, you and your children and your husband gone to this plantation, your wife gone to this plantation, and the kids gone there. So.
And you know that he put out an ad to look for his parents was awesome. And I don't know if he put out the ad himself or did he get somebody to do it for him, because he actually freed himself somewhere along the line, but we don't know that information as well.
Wow. Well, this has been very educational, and I'm grateful that Rochelle asked me to do this. First of all, being with you guys, hearing your story, what you know of it, how it's impacted your life, and when you learn history and you can make a connection, it's liberating. It frees you to some degree. And so thank you for allowing me to do this, and we're going to sign off. Yes, thank you.